Hey guys, welcome. We're gonna do our video kind of different today. It's gonna be kind of cool. It's kind of like Inception. It's like a video within a video. So there's actually not a lot of vocab in this section. So we're gonna actually watch a video within the video that I'm gonna comment on, which is gonna be over here, and how to do what's called a glide reflection. So that's what we're gonna be focused on tomorrow. Glide reflections. And a glide reflection, just real generally, is when we do two types of transformations together. We're going to do a translation, where we're going to slide things, and then also we're going to do reflections, okay? Just like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch the video. I'll pause in between and see what's going on. So here we go.
Perform this composition of transformations. Here we have a combination of two different transformations. Notice in between these two different transformations is this symbol here, the composition symbol. That tells us we have a composition of two transformations. Let's begin then by first identifying these two different transformations. If we take a look, the first thing we see is an R with a y equals 0. Well, this R tells us we're talking about a reflection. The y equals 0 tells us about which line we want to reflect. So this is a reflection, and it's a reflection over the line y equals 0. Next, we see a T with a 4, 0. The T tells us we're talking about a translation. The 4, 0 tells us how we want to translate. 4 units in the positive x direction, 0 units in the positive y direction. So we have a translation, and if we move in the positive x direction, we're moving that way, to the right. So we want to move 4 units to the right. If we move in the positive y direction, we're moving that way, up. So we're going to move 0 units up. Notice here we have a translation and a reflection. This type of combination of a translation and a reflection in a direction that's parallel to the translation is called a glide reflection. Cool. In order to perform these transformations, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the vertices of this triangle. Take a look at point A first. Point A is the point -4, 1. Point B is the point -1, 1. And lastly, point C is the point -1, 5.
I'm going to pause here real quick. I really like how she's writing out all of the points. So having all the points written out makes it easy for us to go ahead and use our rules to do our reflection and our translation mathematically. Once we do our rules first, then we graph it, and then we can physically see if the spatial reasoning makes sense. Okay? When we were playing our shape mods, we a lot of times would make the modification and then check the points. This time we're doing it where we have to write out each point, apply each rule to the point, and then visually check to see if it makes sense.
Now we're ready to perform these transformations. When performing a composition of transformations, we work backwards. The first thing we want to do is the thing closest to the name of the figure. In this case, it would be the translation. Then we work outwards. So the next thing we would do is the reflection. So,
highly important, we always want to work backwards. Okay? Okay, so let's continue here. Oh no, she got reset. It's okay. I remember where she was.
Okay. If we move point B 4 units to the right, we'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd be right here at the point 3, 1. And if we move point C 4 units to the right, we'd be right here at the point 3, 5. Now notice, translating 4 units in the positive x direction was the same thing as adding 4 to the x coordinate. Cool. Now let's go ahead and perform this reflection. We want to reflect over the line y equals 0. Well, if we want to reflect over y equals 0, we're going to take this figure and reflect it like this, over the x-axis. Well, if we do that, it's the same thing as taking our y-coordinate and switching its sign. So, 0, 1 is now the point 0, negative 1. And we can call that a prime. So this is now the point 0, negative 1. If we reflect this over the x-axis, it's now the point 3, negative 1. And we can call that b prime. So b prime is now...
Okay, I'm sorry, I got interrupted twice, so I'm hoping this works. But just to update, we have done two things. We're just doing a glide and a reflection. So essentially, we want to do the part first, closest to it, and then we do the reflection. So we're right in the middle of the reflection. Hopefully, this catches up with where we're at. We're almost done.
Point 3, negative 1. Our y-coordinates are now negative. And lastly, if we reflect c over the x-axis, we'll now be at the point 3, negative 5. And we can call that point c prime. So we get a triangle that looks like this. We said c is now the point 3, negative 5. So these are now our coordinates of our transformed triangle. So we get triangle A prime, B prime, C prime when we perform this composition of transformations.
Okay.
Composition of transformations.
Let's pause right here and just let me talk about one thing real quick. And that is, we did two transformations. I said previously that if we do two transformations, we could call one A prime, and then the second transformation would be A double prime. Now, notice that this was considered one transformation. It's considered one transformation because it's a composite transformation. It's two moves in one, but we still consider it only transforming one time. So that's why it's A prime, B prime, C prime, and it should be that, and it should not be A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. So essentially what work needs to be shown is definitely this work right here, okay? That we do our translation first in blue, and we do our reflection second in purple. And we're going to be practicing glide reflections in class. So I just wanted to see this video, pause a little bit. Hopefully it was pretty straightforward, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.